skilled education exists now, and they're working with American universities, but offering the same kind of support in marketing and promoting the courses, advising how the courses should be presented, that they were doing in the UK, based for UK universities. And part of the discussion claims that although the United States is probably ahead in terms of ed tech, that the UK has been more international in recruiting students and is ahead of the US in that respect. But one of the things Neil Mosley says is that that's a sort of empire consequence. It may not be a marketing plan as such. I think I've remembered what he said. As I said, I'm going to try and edit this in with clips because it's Creative Commons. I think I can do that. But it seems to me that's another aspect Exeter might get involved in, partly because of the Royal Albert Memorial Museum. Exeter's got a very good understanding of that kind of background and might be able to study that aspect of it.
The other thing that really struck me, as you can tell from the conversation, is sort of the time frame issue. Like, it's the UK market like the US online market, just 5 to 10 years after the fact, and the point being made about international student recruitment for online programs, you actually have the reverse case, that the UK online market looks like it might be ahead of the US market, and we might see movement here. So you have this dynamic of which country is at which part of its evolution, and you sort of see both, particularly with the difference around international student recruitment. So that was one of the more interesting insights that I got from the interview.
Yeah, that was fascinating, but it's going to be hard to really compare because like the world is upside down now because of all the changes that are happening in the US and the UK and Australia and Canada around international students, but particularly the US right now.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I mean, to be honest, the kind of more seasoned online education people over here have always kind of presented that juxtaposition with the US being a lot more domestic focus for online. And sometimes that's been relative to US companies coming over here and maybe looking to international markets. But there's a good legacy of distance and online education over here internationally. You know, University of London, one of the oldest distance learning institutions, but then you have, you know, universities like Liverpool and Leicester and Manchester and Heriot-Watt have built up significant online international students in the past. Some of those have kind of reduced, some of those have kind of held steady. So I think he's right to say that there's been a stronger legacy of online international student recruitment over here, but there are still plenty of institutions over here that are way behind in that respect. And there are more complicated reasons that don't necessarily present themselves as to why those universities have done well internationally online. And I think that's a general area that there's not a lot of knowledge about. It's not simply due to institutions getting good at Google in India, or, you know, it's more, there's more factors behind recruitment successes internationally than just digital marketing, say, for example.
Just the need for it. And in other words, the argument that, hey, the UK is a lot smaller, we need to have a broader student population. His argument was more than that, but that it makes sense that the UK was stronger on this from the beginning. Did that resonate with you from what you've seen?
It resonates now. It definitely resonates now because I think universities are running out of headroom, so they're kind of looking for international. So it's definitely a much hotter topic now for the kind of obvious reasons. I think in general, and I'm not sure if this is a kind of a Commonwealth empire legacy thing. I think in general, UK universities have probably been a bit more orientated internationally. So I would probably look to that than to the fact that we're a small nation and therefore we need to go international to make up the numbers. Or, he didn't say that, but I think it's more about our country's orientation and legacy than it is about. Yeah, I don't know. But then
so you might argue it's not really international. These are our locales across the world anyway, that you're recruiting from.
They would argue that it was international.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'm getting into dodgy territory here, but but
we're not going to debate colonialism.
But I mean, if you look at the University of London, then there are relationships there that are built on the past, really. And this is a university that did distance learning. I think was it 1870 something. I can't remember when they first did the first distance.
Yeah, it was like a shorthand course, wasn't it, or something of that nature?
Was it out? I feel like it was in Mauritius or Sri Lanka. I can't remember. It was somewhere like that. Your University of London colleagues will tell me what the right thing is. But yeah, so that's definitely relates to that. But yeah, I think now online recruiting internationally for online is just increasingly important.